We are going to talk about a movie.
This is going to be a disaster.
It was one of the best movies of the year.
It's gonna go so well. Probably one of the last movies I would ever want to see in a theater. What is going on, everybody? Taylor here, and today I'm joined by two very special guests that I believe you guys will have come to recognize by now. We are going to be talking The Mandalorian. The third episode just dropped, and we watched it. Jacob, how are you feeling?
Really good. I really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed it.
Nick, how
Taylor.
are you feeling?
Jacob, good. Yeah, no, same. Definitely enjoyed it. I like where this is going. This show. So.
This episode really is the one that established what our story is going to look like for the rest of the season, which is pretty exciting because it gave us that definitive, okay.
So that's what we're watching.
That's what we're watching. That's what's going on. I just want to start off by saying, Baby Yoda.
Yes.
Obligatory.
I think,
have to say it.
I think first 5 minutes of every episode from now on should just be Baby Yoda appreciation time. Yeah,
it was so cute, and I just can't.
Grabbing the little knob on the lever.
And
I think for the first 3 minutes of this episode, we just sat there giggling.
This
is adorable.
It's pure Baby Yoda fandom for that first 2 minutes.
And the funny thing is, they knew what they had, and yet they didn't know what they had. Like at the same time,
exactly,
it's weird. It is really
really
weird.
We made the joke that after he drops the bounty off, that was going to be it. We were never going to see Baby Yoda ever again.
It's a ballsy move for Disney to kill Baby Yoda off in the third episode.
But before we even get into that, I do just want to acknowledge the historical moment of this episode.
Yes.
The first time ever a female director has directed a live action
Star Wars anything.
Anything. So, Deborah Chow,
cool.
That's a pretty big...
knocked it out of the damn
I
park.
think she did too.
She did,
I loved the way that she used lighting in this episode. Like the shots that she got during that. I was like white knuckled pretty hard during a lot of this episode.
Thought she has absolutely 100% given me complete confidence in Obi-Wan. I am... You're doing Obi-Wan?
I'm good.
Cool.
Because she's basically like the John Favreau Obi-Wan.
She is directing every single episode.
Yeah,
the scripts have already been written.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So the scripts are done. I think they're filming next month. Like, I actually think that they start filming next month or something. So it's...
and
every episode too.
Yeah,
nice.
So she's doing the series.
After watching this episode, that's full faith. The action in this episode was really well done. Not many people can do handheld camera action well without making it look crap, and I have to say it was pretty exciting.
It was
very tense
really
action
well
in this
done.
episode.
Huge fan of this episode. I think I was, don't get me wrong, I was a little nervous about halfway through where I thought, we're 3 episodes in and we still don't know what the actual story of this series is. Yeah. Like I thought, is this show really going to be a each week new bounty? Like I thought maybe if that's what it's going to be, then it's like, okay, maybe. But at the end of this episode, we know now what the series is going to be.
Yes, and as we affectionately have started referring to it, this is our John Wick of the Star Wars universe, is what it looks like.
I think that's awesome. I really do. Like it literally had the same beats as the end of John Wick too. Like everyone's start beeping, and everyone's like watching.
Everyone's in the bar just looking at the thing, like
Baby Yoda's the dog, and everyone's out to kill the dog or Baby Yoda. So it's.
Look, I'm on board. I'm hugely on board now. I mean, obviously, Breaking Bad villain is going to probably end up being he is coming in as most likely going to be the main antagonist from now on. Which to me makes sense. We know he's in the series. We know he's coming into the series. Now his goal makes sense. We know what Mandalorian is trying to do. We don't know what his goal ultimately is.
We don't know his end goal.
We don't know where he's going.
I don't think he knows where he's going at this point.
He's very driven by moral at the moment of the fact that he doesn't want anything bad to happen to this baby because he's just like, well, it's a baby.
Clearly he's weighing moral against code right now, which I think is very interesting because clearly they live by a very strong code usually.
And it's interesting as well because there's a juxtaposition there. He's willing, like his Mandalorian code we saw means so much to him and that group of Mandalorians. They live so loyally to each other. but then he realizes that the job that he does for these scumbags of the universe, that's where he can be like, okay, I need to know, morally where I sit.
Yeah, I mean, this episode was where is your line? There's his line. We've now seen the line. Okay, what are you willing to do?
And they push it right to the
Yeah,
end
no,
too. We get so close to the other side of it.
What are you willing to cross for? Like, what line are you willing to cross?
And we also see that the other Mandalorians are right on. They're like, you know
Yeah.
what? We're backing you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But which is it's interesting to me
like
because you didn't really know
No.
how they would have reacted to something like
and
that.
because we've seen from what we know about bounty hunters from everything else in Star Wars is where they're just guys motivated by reward, by money.
Right.
That's all we've really known. So the fact that we've now get to see a group of Mandalorians together who have a strict code of loyalty, who are willing to go, if one of our guys is so forcefully moved to be able to do this, then there must be reason for it. And that's awesome. I think that it was unexpected, but it was cool.
It was a moment of, okay, it was a lore moment. It was, okay, as someone especially who isn't really deep on the non-films of Star Wars, so like
the canon outside.
yeah, the canon outside.
Yeah.
So I've not dived massively into Clone Wars. I've not dived massively into Rebels. Like I've dabbled. I've watched several episodes of Rebels, but I couldn't remember everything that happens. This is a good way of introducing the Mandalorians lore to the more the casual viewer, because honestly more people are going to watch this show than most other shows.
Agreed.
So I believe that the way they've handled that is good. I'm very curious to see where they go forward with the Mandalorians and how that story
With their relocating, because they did mention to each other during all the chaos that we're going to have to move now.
Well, yeah, that's it, because they're an underground society is what we find out again, is that they're literally... I think it was our main Mandalorian, Mando, as he gets called throughout the episode, that they only go out one at a time. Right. So I wonder if is it like a legend that there is one Mandalorian and people don't know it's a secret society. They don't dabble too deep into it, but I like
But we're getting a little bit more each time.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
And that's it. They're not really throwing everything at us in one episode. And that's why I think the 3 episodes never felt like they dragged, but they generally feel like they could have been one first, second, and third act of an episode.
Part of me feels that we could possibly be going forward as... these, like, from going forward, we will be getting the 1 hour episodes. I feel like, and this is just for me personally with the release schedule that they've done with this show, I feel like this show specifically, you could have released all 3 of these episodes as here is the pilot. Yeah. This is your first episode to get you, here is the story, here is the character, here is everything. I feel like I would be curious to see what these 3 episodes would have looked like as just one in a row.
They have sort of a 3-act vibe to it. Yeah, the first one is the first act, finding the bounty. Second one is getting bounty 2 and, rising action throughout. And then third one is the resolution, is the third act begins when he decides to go back.
Exactly,
and get Baby Yoda.
I would have been curious to see if they kind of just went, no, it's a double episode first. It's a 2-hour first episode. And
Topher Grace loves editing this shit together. Can he just do just put all 3 together for us as a special edition?
I just think it would have been fascinating and interesting.
Yeah, I agree, but I do think, like we've said, that the pacing for these is great.
Oh yeah,
they tell the story they need to tell.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel very long. But something else I want to touch on, because I think we were all pretty stoked about it. All of the very creative ways we saw Stormtroopers get offed in this episode.
Yes.
He had some crazy weapons going on.
Not only that, how graphic
I know
they were willing to show.
Considering we haven't seen any gnarly deaths in Star Wars. The gnarliest one I can think of is Last Jedi with the Kylo Ren's lightsaber going straight through, and I remember that was like an oh shit moment.
Yeah.
This time we saw someone get burnt to a crisp.
But you actually saw
that's what I'm saying.
You see the burnt corpse.
Yeah, I was
him using his grappler and then pulling it back and
right
knifing
in
the
the
guy
back.
in the back.
And it was brutal.
But I think it's good. I'm glad they haven't sort of like nerfed the violence to be more of a lightsaber duels and laser
Yeah.
guns. You know what I mean? Like it matches the tonality of the show, which is dark underworld.
Yeah.
I think it does too. I think it also follows the pattern that the show is kind of giving us, where they're showing us parts of the galaxy we haven't seen. Not everyone fights with lightsabers,
Yeah,
is what they're
absolutely.
trying to
Exactly,
say, basically.
Yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it does. I am now more excited for the future of this show than I was last week.
Yes,
So last week I
agreed.
was like, okay, what's your story? We now know the story, so I'm now, all right, there's 5 episodes to go. I want every single episode, and I want them now. I was enjoying the show, but because it was Star Wars last week, now I'm enjoying the show because I care about this character, and I want to see them going forward.
How
And I'm
good's that though? That a show can do that? That can pry you in with 3 episodes with. I'm not going to say nothing happens, but traditionally what we know as TV, not a lot actually happens over. And the fact that we can still go back week to week and be like, something's going to happen, and now that we get the payoff for waiting, because like to talk about another show, I've been watching Watchmen, right? HBO. I don't think anything's happened in 5 episodes of that show, and I'm starting to get real angry. Whereas, like this, you're right. We watch because it's Star Wars, and then at the perfect moment, they've gone, and now you love The Mandalorian, and you will watch for the next 6 episodes.
Exactly, yeah. And
Damn you, Disney. Got me good, man.
thank God we already paid for 3 years.
But
Just
one
imagine.
other thing I will bring up, because I feel like it's mandatory, has to be brought up. We've maintained the consistency that Stormtroopers can't shoot for shit.
Oh, yeah.
So, very good. Glad we still got it.
He was in like 4 different hallways, and they just kept missing.
I'm pretty sure that a Stormtrooper was as close as I am to Taylor right now, with the blaster right at the Mandalorian's head, and still missed 4 shots, and I loved it.
The one thing I wish they did was have a Stormtrooper shoot a Stormtrooper. That just would have been perfect.
Yeah.
He misses that badly. He shoots
another Stormtrooper.
Friendly fire.
An inventive death.
God, that just would have been so funny.
But something else I want to touch on that we kind of brought up but didn't really talk about after we watched the episode was they're still in Stormtrooper gear, right? And we're
Yeah.
supposed to believe that that's not happening in the galaxy anymore.
I mean,
Which obviously is, I'm not surprised by it, but I just think it's interesting.
to me, that's iconography. I kind of have.
But I'm meaning maybe in the story going forward,
Oh,
because
yeah,
obviously,
true.
in terms of world building and the world they're in, people are like, that's over.
Empire's
Wink, wink,
gone,
nudge,
yeah.
nudge. Like
Yeah.
that's over.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that actually ties into.
I'd be curious to see if that's I mean, like we talked about last week, where we were like, are we going to start seeing the formation of the First Order, and is that? I mean, like we basically said last week, that the Stormtrooper uniform is essentially a Nazi uniform.
Right.
Like that's the symbol.
That's the way we can really compare it to something.
And so the First Order is basically just rebranding the Nazi uniform from the Empire. So I'm curious to see. I'm very curious to see if that does play a factor. I think if it does, it's not this season. Like,
no,
I think it would be
but
down
I
the
think
line, but
building it up in the background, kind of like this,
Yeah.
where you have stormtroopers here working with this person, or you just kind of have them quietly, I guess, around.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, which it's one of the things I remember the most about the trailers, was we get the stormtrooper heads on spikes.
yeah.
True.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm curious to see
what happens with
where
that,
it goes,
yeah.
because that's an image that I'm not gonna forget.
Yeah, like
anytime
is he
soon.
gonna- where are they going to where that is happening?
Like, how does
So,
it get to that point, or what planet are they on, or where does that play a part? But there's a lot. Even now that we have our story established, there's still so many possibilities of what we're gonna get.
Oh god, yeah, and I think because we're so focused on that one main story, and we were saying this directly after the episode, so it's kind of great to see a TV show that's focusing so hard on one character. A lot of TV shows do side characters, and I guess because most TV shows are 40 minutes plus, whereas these ones are about 35. It's kind of nice and refreshing to be able to see that, but I think it also, maybe they're purposely giving us a bit of tunnel vision as well. And then once we start seeing these little puzzle pieces in the background form, it'll be a great payoff.
I know. We're saying that, we know the story now. I'm waiting for, like, in 2 episodes, they just go, that's not the story anymore. This is now the story.
Yeah.
And, like, we just completely 180 us. I don't think they're going to be doing that, but
But
who knows?
I mean, it is a pretty broad story
Yeah.
still. Like, even though we have the story like a shell of a story
Yeah.
at least, where we kind of have an idea. There's still so
It's
much.
almost like we have
that-
an event. We don't have a story, we have an
Exactly.
event that was occurring.
And again, we're just speculating that that is the story. I
Yeah.
mean, it makes sense that that's the story.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
We are just speculating. Next week they could be like, yeah, the guild's gone. You're all good. You're
Mandalorian
fine.
killed all of them. Now you've got another threat, and it's still John Wick though.
Baby Yoda stole something from someone, and now they're pissed.
Yeah, that's it. The fob wasn't for Baby Yoda. They were like, no, dude, he's got Imperial credits, a lot of them.
Oh gosh, but I think that honestly pretty much wraps up for the most part.
yeah.
I mean, was there anything else?
I mean, I just want to give a real quick prediction because I want to embarrass myself on the fly.
Love it. This is
When
the content I'm here
doesn't
for.
happen, I can look like an idiot. But if it does happen, I'm going to be a genius. So I am now convinced that we will now see Pablo's face at some point, that he will take the helmet off.
Okay.
Because in this episode we saw, what line will you not cross?
Yeah.
He will not cross. Like, you know, what are your morals where you're not willing to cross? He will not break his religion.
Yeah.
Storytelling.
Well, that's the
101.
thing.
I mean, even before I saw any of the episodes, I figured at some point that was a
Yeah.
line that was going to have to be crossed.
Yeah.
It probably isn't going to be
They
for
do,
a while.
and they do
Yeah.
make a note of it too. They go, "Have you ever taken
Yeah.
your helmet off?"
And
No.
that-
Has anyone else taken your helmet
Yeah.
off? No. And now that everyone in this part of the galaxy is looking for
Yeah.
a Mandalorian,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where
That's a good conflict.
I think we are going to get that. At some point, he has to break his rule because that's storytelling. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it's the
the
hero's
conflict.
journey,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's
I-
conflict 101.
No, I agree. I don't think that's I think that's a pretty typical
Yeah.
prediction, but I do think that that it is going to have to be something that's very much built up to, and in that moment, like you said, he's forced to
Yeah.
cross that line
Yeah.
that he was never willing to cross, because in real life sometimes the line just has to move. Like
Yeah.
no matter
Yeah.
what, sometimes it's you got to do it.
The other thing is, I made a prediction last week that
God.
we may learn about Snoke. Cross that. That ain't happening.
Not this season,
I don't
anyway.
think. I after that episode, I think this season will strictly. Personally, I really do think this is our story. It will be Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. Not be surprised if Baby Yoda is no longer in the show after this season. I think that's this season's story, and I think everything happening around the galaxy will kind of be superfluous. Like, they're not really going to touch that this season.
Not yet.
And then, like, we'll get hints.
Well, that's
of
what
it. Like, we'll
that's
get
what I was
hints.
saying. Yeah, like where you just get little things in the background, kind of moving around.
I'm still. I still think we will get a mention of Luke or Leia. I think if anyone gets a mention, it will be one of those. Like Leia, Leia's starting up the Senate again or something. Like, there will be a mention of the Senate or some of the planets that got destroyed in Force Awakens.
I
or
agree.
something.
There has to be a mention of something, because obviously something has to start somewhere to get us to the point that we're at.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of movies.
I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if we hear if we just hear, Leia gave birth. Like, if something like that as a, hey, Kylo's alive.
Yeah,
like,
Kylo is
Kylo is now in this universe. I mean,
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It really will. It's I don't know. I think that they've done a really good job every week, just kind of giving you that little bit of something to look forward to at the very least. They're giving you a little bit of something that, what's going to happen next week, but not to me, they haven't done it cheaply in any way. It's very much like,
it's all felt organic.
Yeah, I agree. But
I just want to add one more thing.
Yeah, of course.
I like that they alluded to and didn't tell us the reason that Baby Yoda was such a high value target. So we're under the assumption that Werner Herzog's character is attempting to extract midichlorians from Force-sensitive creatures, people, whatever. Could this potentially tie into a Snoke thing?
Possibly. could Werner Herzog be Snoke?
That's literally what I was just thinking. I'm not going to go and make a bold prediction.
I think you just did. I think you just tied yourself to
Play
that.
this back 4 episodes from now and
When he's killed.
slow motion in black and white, and it's just sad.
Yeah.
But that's but I like that. That's an idea. That's something that's fleshed around that midichlorians. We don't know if it was successful, but there was potential that it could be extracted and used or weaponized or something.
Yeah.
So I hope they explore that a little bit. I would like them to do that.
I also do find it interesting. I was convinced Werner was dying this episode, and I'm interested that
He's still alive.
he is still
Yeah.
alive.
You did make a prediction last episode that he would only come back for one more.
Yeah, I
don't think he's gonna be a big player, but
I have a like he'll be the one who puts the bounty, obviously, like and he'll be back.
We must
Get him
find
back.
the
And I think we'll get one more scene with him, and it will. And who knows? It could be his death scene, but I'm shocked he didn't go in this episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lots to look forward to.
Lots to look forward to. Guys, Baby Yoda. I can't. This is exactly what they wanted.
Can you create an outro of just photos of Baby Yoda?
Absolutely.
moving on the
I'm just
screen
going to
to-
Photoshop Baby Yoda here and Baby Yoda right there. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
We heard Baby Yoda talk a little bit this episode. He hasn't really made a lot of noises yet, and we heard a bit more interactivity with the Mandalorian.
I think my favorite, the best possible way to close out the episode was him just slowly giving him the little. I was like, I can't.
Hilarious.
Oh my god.
Good little payoff for that joke.
So good. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me
Thank you for having me.
on this episode where we praise the Baby Yoda as the one true ruler of the galaxy. Jacob, where can people find you on the interweb?
You guys can find me at Jacob London on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, pretty
Everything.
much everywhere. It's just Jacob London because I'm not original.
Well, that's
Yeah,
fair.
that's your names. That's original enough. I guess.
Nick, what about you?
On Instagram, you can find me at NixFlixFix. I do 60-second movie reviews.
Not a tongue twister at
No,
all.
no.
That's-
Many people told me never to make that my name. But I said, hey, I'm going to do it.
And you guys, as always, can find me at Finally Tailored. All the links are going to be down in the description for everyone that's here today. Thank you guys so much for supporting our craziness as we discuss The Mandalorian and various other things that pop up. You guys are seriously the best, and we will see you next time.